Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank UNU-WIDER for the extension of this time for me to present this paper. I must mention that this paper was in collaboration with UNU-WIDER and the University of Copenhagen, John Rand and Kwabena from the UNU-WIDER side. So I'll present a paper on differential bunching impacts across personal income brackets. I must mention that this has been already published as a working paper under WIDER, and it's also been published in the European Journal of Development Economics. So what's the background of the study? We all know that tax revenue mobilization is an important tool in developing countries, equally in developing nations as well. But it brings with it a number of challenges, such as those relating to tax evasion, tax avoidance, and non-compliance. So what motivates this paper? So the motivation behind this paper is that we need to understand the different welfare impacts and the efficiency of tax policy. And in doing so, it's very important to understand the linkage between tax policy changes and behavioral responses in taxpayers. So that's the major motivation of the paper. So with that motivation, we use the personal income tax data for Zambia, following the methodology of bunching by Says and Shetel of 2011. And the pay-as-you-earn in Zambia is a graduated system where tax liability increases at each bracket. And this bracket is associated with a marginal tax rate. So with that, the bunching methodology is a better approach in terms of looking at taxpayer behavior responses due to policy shifts. So, like I mentioned, our paper is closest to the methodology used by Cleven and Wasem, that is 2013, and Bell, 2020. So if we look at the data sets that we used, you can see that in the ZRA tax structure, we've got three kinks, okay? So there's a kink which is just below the taxable income amount. And from these descriptive statistics, for all the years, 2014 to 2021, it's clear that the median income, okay, is always below the first kink, meaning that half of the population on the pay return in ZRI actually do not pay anything. So that's what it means, looking at the median there. So that's the major key takeaway from that slide. Then over time, we've got three kinks, and from before 2016, it was at 0 to 25%. Then we had 30% and 35% at the highest bracket, which eventually was raised in 2017 to 37.5. Then in terms of the thresholds, income thresholds, for now, Zambian kwacha to USA dollar is like 26 kwacha to 1 USA dollar. So you'd find that as at 2021, the first kink was at 4,000 US dollar, 4,000 kwacha, which is equivalent somewhat like at about 150 USA dollars, somewhere there. Yeah. So what are the bunching results now revealing? So you can see that in 2014, at the first kink, which is at 3,000 kwacha, there's clear evidence there. You can clearly see. You can clearly see that there's some bunching there along this 3,000 kwacha. So there was an incentive to bunch around the first kink. Then there was also evidence of a bunching on the second kink, as we can see here. So if we move down to 2015, the results are the same. They are similar, like that of 2015. 2016, the results are similar. So in 2017, what is interesting that in 2017, there was a policy shift. So the minimum threshold was increased from 3,000 kwacha to 3,300 kwacha. And what's interesting is that now the bunching shifted from the 3,000 to the actual 3,300 kwacha. So you can see that taxpayer behavior is just moving from the initial kink. Then you can also see that also on the second kink, which moved to about 5,900 kwacha, there was also some evidence of minimal bunching there. Then in 2018, the results are similar to that of 2017. 2019, similar to that of 2018. Again, one interesting thing is that in 2021, in 2021, there was also a policy shift where the minimum amount for the first kink was also raised from the 3,300 to the 4,000. And what the results actually reveal is that again, bunching again shifts to just add the kink there at 4,000. And to somewhat on the second kink and third kink, though it's quite limited here on the second kink and third kink, you can see. So this is just another illustration of the bunching behavior across all the years and regime changes. So if you look at the elasticity and excess mass, it's very clear that over the period, the first kink, the second kink, in terms of the bunching elasticity, at their highest. Though, if you look at the first kink, it's significant at 1% across all years, meaning that the strong bunching that is seen on the first kink across the years. Then, because we are doing bunching annually, so we needed to control now for all the years. You pull the data together. And the result is that, yes, even if you put the data together, you actually witness bunching across those tax kinks. So you put the data together in 2014 to 2016. This was the first, this is the same regime. And from 2017 to 2020, it is one regime. And 2020, 2021, it was one regime. So you can see that even if we pull the data set together by regime, there is evidence of bunching. So one other factor is to control now for round number bunching. So even if you control for round number bunching, there's evidence to show that clearly there's actual bunching across the tax return. So after computing the counterfactual mass and the bunching mass, we estimate the revenue forgone due to this shifting behavior of taxpayers. And it was just amounting to about 0.03% of the total tax within the period, which is quite minimal. Yeah. So in conclusion, we noticed that despite the presence of bunching behavior, even when corrected for round number bunching, the implied elasticities as a result of the taxable income is remarkable, very small in terms of the deviations from the norm. And as a result, you find that the mixed revenue out of that is quite minimal. So the mixed tax revenue is attributable to excess bunching, and it's very limited. So the paper suggests that the findings that government revenue losses due to bunching are not as extensive as one might expect in the personal income tax in Zambia. Then it is observed that bunching is primarily driven by reporting behavior and not purely by economic activities. Then what appears most as a bigger recommendation is that the initial tax threshold should be a focus area of the tax revenue authority in terms of the increasing of amount of individual liable taxes. Thanks.